Welcome back to another video. Apologies once again for the lack of updates. Have been extremely busy with uni work, normal work and other boring stuff which I'm not going to get into, but main line is I'm just trying to tick over on YouTube now, and eventually in a few weeks time when my exams are over for university, I'll be back on the regular content making situation side of things. Just give you a quick update of where I'm at now. So currently the weekend I spent pretty much all day at my desk, so I'm looking forward to getting out of the house and grabbing a quick training session soon. Yesterday was a Tough Mudder, which if you follow me on Instagram or any other social medias you would have seen, I'd done it with the Grenade Fit team, so Jamie Olsen, Grenade J, if you know him, so had super fun doing that. But it also killed me at the same time, so yesterday I got back and just didn't move for the rest of the day, which probably didn't do me any good. So today I've been foam rolling, eating and just getting lots of work done, general bit of recovery. But I'm going to head to the gym tonight, have an easy session, maybe do a bit of cardio after. On the cardio side of things, recently I've just got back into playing a bit of rugby, but this time I'm doing a bit of rugby sevens over the summer. Nothing too serious at the moment, but I'm doing a lot more running than what I used to. And when I say a lot more than what I used to not do any, so anything extra is quite good for me at the moment. And I kind of used the Tough Mudder yesterday as a bit of motivation to get back to doing more cardio, increase my health and just generally like move about a bit better as well. Yeah, it's all going pretty good. Cardio sessions usually about 2 or 3 times a week at the moment, and that obviously helps as well with my body composition goals, trying to get a bit leaner throughout the summer and generally just be a good, move well, be functional and look lean and like an aesthetic human being. So those are the goals at the moment. So on the subject of doing cardio, I wanted to make today's video about, rugby sevens is, it's high intensity interval game and with very little to no rest. So I want to speak about that in comparison to, low intensity steady state cardio and which benefits you more in terms of fat loss. Let's find out.
Lamp City. They tell me to slow down, but homie, I'm just living my life and gonna do what you think is right, 'cause that's...
Now, before we get into the video, I just want to give you a quick insight on something I'm working on at the moment, and I'm also going to be showing you what I'm going to have before I go to the gym, pre-workout, food, meal, little snack sort of thing. So this is what I've been working on recently. This will be available to a few people in the near future, so more info on that to come out soon. But it's basically fat loss ebook. It won't be free unfortunately, but just because of the amount of effort that I'm putting into it and the amount of quality info that's going to be in there. But it's basically going to be fat loss and everything you need to know about that. So like I said, more info coming on that soon. It's going to be really handy, so it's going to have all the information, recommendations, practical advice, and also step-by-step information on how to apply that into your everyday routine. So that's, I feel, is going to be very beneficial for a lot of people. I've got a few clients online who are asking a lot of questions, and a lot of those are going into this ebook. So frequently asked questions. So I feel like that's going to help a lot of people with the common things that they come across, common difficulties that they face when trying to lose fat. So keep an eye out for that. More information coming soon. So the first bit of food we're going to have prior to the gym is going to be 2 eggs, 2 sausages, in between 2 slices of bread. Other people might call that a sandwich, probably an easy way to put it. So yeah, turkey and egg sandwich. This bread's pretty awesome. It's like only 85p from Asda, and I'm pretty sure it's got like 5 grams of protein per slice. Yeah, so packed full of protein, and obviously it's seeded, so it's got some fats in there as well. And it's generally pretty tasty. Turkey sausages, obviously a bit lower in fat than the normal sausages, and they reduced to like £1.30 from like £2.50. So massive deal there. Obviously student life, loving the savings where we can get them. So you can make this up and then you can chill out for about an hour. Previously today I was fasted until about 1:30. No particular reason, it's just I wasn't feeling too hungry and I wasn't planning on going to the gym today. But to break the fast, I had like a chicken chorizo king prawn paella. So that was pretty tasty. Had some grapes. And then for the second meal of the day, it was pretty tasty as well. I had some smoked haddock, baby potatoes, asparagus and poached eggs. So it's been pretty good today. Whole foods is generally what I try and stick to, but I'll speak a bit more about my nutrition in another video. Let's go on with this. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another commentary. Just before we jump into it, if you could like the video if you're enjoying it so far, and obviously if you haven't subscribed already, then make sure you click that button. But what we're going to do today is talk about low intensity versus high intensity exercise and which one is better for fat loss. Now, as you can see, I am doing this commentary over a resistance training or strength training video, and that is not by coincidence. So before we get into the cardio side of things, I just want to talk about strength training or resistance training and how that can benefit your fat loss. So obviously, to start off with, when we consume carbs, we store those in our body as glycogen, and that is the main method of energy for when we do strength training. So obviously we're using a lot of carbs, a lot of energy to push those weights and expend those calories. But the main effect of calorie expenditure happens during our workout, but obviously there are certain things that happen after a workout as well, such as an increased metabolic rate, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about how that happens. So post-exercise, during the recovery period, the body needs an increased amount of oxygen in order to recover and return to its resting state, which we were in before that workout. Now, this process is called EPOC, which stands for excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, or some of you guys may know it as the afterburn effect. So basically, during this process, a number of things happen within the body that in turn increases our calorie expenditure, which is what we want to optimize. Now, this calorie expenditure is increased through processes such as ATP regeneration. Obviously, some people may know ATP is the main source of the body's energy, and when we expend our stores of ATP, we need to resynthesize those molecules, which we use oxygen to do. Another reason we need excess oxygen is for oxidation of lactic acid, and obviously when we do work out, we build up a number of metabolic waste products, and we need excess oxygen in order to remove those waste products from our body. So that's basically a little bit of the physiology behind what happens when we work out, and the reason we actually increase our calorie expenditure after the workout. Moving on to the cardio side of things, there are obviously different methods such as high intensity interval training and low intensity steady state cardio. Now, a little bit on the research, it still seems to be sort of unconfirmed as to typically which one is better, but if we look at Lyle McDonald's blog post, who, if you don't know Lyle McDonald, he's quite well respected in a body composition side of things. In this blog, he states that, you know, there isn't any definite answer for which one's better, but he argues that, you know, the percentage difference between the two modes of training are so minor that only an extra 1 pound of fat loss would be achieved over 250 days of completing high intensity interval training, and that's given the total work times are matched, etc. However, what we need to consider is like the number of practical considerations. So if you're a newbie to the gym, then obviously high intensity interval training is probably not going to be best suited to you, because obviously we need to build up a bit of resilience to the high impact before we get into that. So we need to improve our muscular strength and also condition our tendons and joints in order to absorb that impact that we're going to undergo. So, for example, if we're on a treadmill. Another practical consideration is going to be the time available. So obviously, if we're doing high intensity interval training, then we're going to burn more calories in a shorter amount of time, which is obviously going to be more beneficial for those who are, you know, rushed for their gym sessions and just want to get in, get it done, and then get out. Another benefit we see from high intensity interval training relates back to the physiological mechanisms which I mentioned earlier. So one of those things was the build-up of waste products. So basically, as metabolic waste such as lactate, which is basically the accumulation of hydrogen ions within a muscle, etc. But basically, when we do high intensity interval training, we build up resilience to this metabolic waste, and we end up improving our lactate threshold. Now, what happens is obviously we get better at removing these waste products from the muscle, which in turn allows us to perform more maximally, which is obviously going to result in a better performance. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this is because when we do resistance training, say traditionally 6 to 12 reps for hypertrophy, we do actually go through a similar process of building up that lactate, which is going to decrease performance. Now, obviously, if we're interval training and we're improving those mechanisms, then that's going to have a positive carryover to when we resistance train, as we're going to improve the body's ability to remove those waste products from our muscles, which means we're going to be able to perform a higher rep range with higher weight, which is obviously going to do more muscle damage, which is going to result in an increased hypertrophy stimulus, resulting in basically better gains. So that's it for the sciencey sort of informative side of things. As you can see here, I'm doing a 2k row. This was just to finish my workout. This workout was after the Tough Mudder, which was a couple of weeks ago now, so this is a bit of a delayed video. I've just been so busy with uni revision that I haven't had a chance to record this commentary. But now that this is done, just want to talk a little bit about this. So obviously 2k row, I'm trying to improve my fitness at the moment, and that's obviously continuous fitness, interval training. I'm basically just trying to vary up a little bit. So that's something else you need to consider. You consider that obviously interval training is going to be good, but there are going to be times where you just want to lower the intensity and you want to work in sort of ranges of 40 to 60% to still get that fat burning benefit, but obviously it's not going to be as taxing on the system as doing sort of 10 minutes of 30 on 30 off intervals. My 2k row time, it wasn't that great. I think it was about 7.5 minutes, and then I just went for a minute warm up after, just to sort of cool down. And that's another thing. Research does show that low intensity active recovery is more beneficial than than a sort of passive recovery of just sort of standing there, sat there, not moving about. Obviously, it's just going to again help remove those waste products from our body. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the commentary. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions at all, then don't be afraid to comment below, or send me an email directly at shaw-fitness@hotmail.com, and I'll be more than happy to get back to you on any questions that you have. So we've just finished up in the gym. Still trying to catch my breath back from the rowing machine. Overall, didn't really have a bad session considering it's a Tough Mudder yesterday. Pretty much every muscle in my body was aching. Mostly my forearms though, so luckily it wasn't a pull day. But it was good just to get a session of pumping blood around the body and getting that muscle stimulus, which is what we wanted. So like I said, good session overall. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Anyway, I'll see you on the next one, guys. And as always, take it steady.